What is going on, everyone? We're going to be like Speedy Gonzalez. I logged on an old account from like 15 years ago. It was linked to Facebook. Went through a shit ton of games. Found one that was 100% at 30 deep analysis with a checkmate. So in the actual game, it went e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and bishop c4. I used to play all kinds of openings. This game was the Italian. He played the two knights defense, which opens it up for the fried liver attack. I should definitely do a tutorial on this. So the only good reply from black is pawn to d5. Although there is a really crazy gambit, we don't want to talk about that. You can look that up yourself. So they push d5. I got to take, and if they want to continue the fried liver, they capture with their knight. But I will mention, after that, you come in and jump and suicide your knight. But there are other alternatives. There's knight here, there's knight here, there's knight here. I believe there's pawn here. And let's see if I remember the line. Knight up, kick, all the way back. Takes the pawn. Got to tuck and roll. Queen come in, threaten, boom. Knight comes in, blocks. The bishop comes in, hitting the queen. Pawn comes up, and the other pawn comes up. Yeah, crazy stuff. And right here, there's like the super fucking fried liver attack where you still fucking fork. And that's not all. There's sick lines. You can come here, you can go check, you come here, you go here and here, but you don't have to take. You can take the fucking queen and block. All kinds of stupid lines to rack your brain over. Anyways, so he took the pawn on d5. And I came in and took the f7 pawn. So he captured with his king, and then you bring out your queen, checking the king, but more importantly, doubling the attack on the knight that's in the middle of the board. So the main line continues, the king comes up to protect, and then you just triple up, and this knight has to either jump to the worst of the two squares or over here to, defend again, and it's trying to threaten to fork your king and rook. I've seen tutorials like chess.com, Kevin says to go here, horrible. I've seen other ones to say castle, horrible. The main line, technically on here, it says to go with queen to e4, but you can also do bishop to b3. Basically, you got to protect it to avoid all that schnaz. So once you pick out whatever you want to do, they're going to go ahead and back up their knight, and then you can try to kick it out. And then the knight's got to back up. And I believe you can push the D pawn, just adding pressure, and then the knight will jump back to C7 again, adding another defender to the knight, because it's on a different square now, and the C pawn's basically covering it. It's absolutely nuts. Fried liver, right? So let's get back to the reason why we're even talking about this, because it was a perfect game. So instead of coming up and backing up his boy on d5, this dude ends up making the mistake of bringing his king to e8, which is a blunder, because now he's only got one defender on the knight. I will mention as well, I have another game where the king went back to g8 on a different account, which is even older. I went through like 3,000 games, guys. So the reason why this is no bueno is because this is checkmate in 3, automatic, game over. More or less, you have options to either your bishop or queen to come in and attack the knight. And that's check. They only have two pieces to intervene. They have the queen, which can capture, and then you recapture, and they only have the bishop to get in the way, and then it's checkmate. So I think it's more fancy to take, finish off with the bishop, but it works the same way if you capture with the bishop first, queen come in, you recapture, and then they block. And technically, there's a shorter way. When you originally come in for a check, they don't have to change off queens. If they just try blocking with the bishop, it's just a quicker checkmate. So I'm not showing that game because technically, when the homeboy went back here, I captured, and he didn't let me finish off. He saw, he was doomed, and so technically it wasn't a game with a checkmate. So, yeah, homeboy brings it to e8. I didn't want to capture the queen because then that would have offered like a queen exchange, and that just kind of loses my oomph that I had going. So I capture with the bishop, and home slice brings his knight to d4, thinking he's slick attacking my queen, but that just allows me to bring queen to f7. Wha-bam! Checkmate. Check out my melody. But it was definitely a trip going down memory lane, seeing all the old openings I used to play, like hella King's Gambit, for example. But I do appreciate you. I'll catch you on the next.